Have you ever felt the exact moment your dignity snapped? It's not a crash, it's silence, glass-shattering, bone-deep, suffocating silence. Amara Okoye felt it now. The champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering against the marble floor of the Grand Hyatt Seoul ballroom. 300 of Korea's most powerful elites watched her unravel. Click, click, click. Kim So-ra's Laubautin heels struck the floor like a death march. I said, who invited her? Amara stood frozen, her wine-red gown suddenly feeling like a target painted across her dark skin. She'd saved 8 months for this dress, practiced her Korean until her tongue ached. And still, the architectural gala is for architects, So-ra continued, not for assistants who fetch coffee. I designed the Hangang Riverfront project, my name. Your name? So-ra laughed. Someone remind the help that a nice dress doesn't change what you are. She turned to security. Escort this woman out. Rough hands gripped Amara's arms. 8 years she'd given Park and Associates. 8 years of stolen designs and patronizing smiles. 8 years of being invisible. Now she was a spectacle. Wait. The voice came from the back, quiet, but carrying the weight of empires. The crowd parted. An old woman emerged, supported by an ivory cane carved with lions. Halmoni Kang, barely 5 feet tall but moving through the room like a blade through water. Her midnight hanbok glittered with silver thread and her eyes, ancient yet fierce, fixed on Amara. Release her. The guards vanished. 23 years ago, Halmoni announced, a man saved my son's life in Lagos. He asked for nothing, only that if fate brought his bloodline to our shores we would remember. She paused. This is his daughter. Whispers erupted. But she wasn't finished. From tonight, let no one touch her, let no one insult her. Her cane struck marble like a judge's gavel. She is the future mother of the Kang bloodline. The silence turned afraid. Then from the shadows a figure stepped forward. Tall, sharp, beautiful like knives are beautiful. Kang Jae-min, the Ice King, the man tabloids called a monster. His gaze landed on Amara and she felt it like a blade to her throat. In his eyes burned something cold. Contempt. Take her home, Jae-min, Halmoni commanded. She belongs to us now. He extended his hand, not offering, demanding. And Amara realized she hadn't been rescued. She'd been claimed. The Rolls-Royce moved through Seoul like a shark through dark water. Jae-min hadn't blinked in 12 minutes, hadn't stopped staring at her like she was a problem to solve. You're not afraid, he said finally, an accusation. Amara's chin lifted. Should I be? My grandmother just announced you'll mother my children. Your face will be dissected by commentators speculating if your skin is too dark for the Kang brand. He leaned forward, smelling of rain and cedar. Yes, you should be terrified. And yet, Amara said softly, I'm not. The car stopped. Inside the Kang estate, marble floors gleamed like mirrors. Art worth millions lined the walls. Amara was cataloging the architecture, the impossible floating staircase, when she crashed into Jae-min's back. He spun, gripped her arm, slammed her against the wall. Let me explain something, he said, his voice dropping dangerously. My grandmother is the only person who frightens me. When she orders, I obey. But make no mistake, his hand caged her head. I am not a reward. I am every nightmare you've been told to avoid and you've just been handed to me like a gift. Her heart hammered, but she didn't look away. Never look away. You think I wanted this, she whispered, to be announced like a prize mare. I think you're either a brilliant con artist or the unluckiest woman in Seoul. His eyes dropped to her mouth. Either way, you're my problem now. I'm not a problem, I'm a person. In my world, there's no difference. He released her suddenly. East Wing, 7 tomorrow morning, don't be late. He began walking away, then paused. If you're running a con, I will find out, and not even my grandmother will save you. He vanished. Amara stayed pressed against the wall, breathing hard. The scent of him lingered. She should run, every instinct screamed it. But she thought about So-ra's smirk, about stolen designs, about 8 years of being nobody. Somewhere in this frozen hell was an answer, a reason connecting her dead father to this impossible family. She would find it. And then she would decide her own fate. In his study, Jae-min pressed shaking hands against the window glass. His phone buzzed. Grandmother, don't fright her away. Jae-min, what game are you playing? Grandmother, the only game that matters, survival, hers and ours. He stared at the words. His grandmother was never wrong, if she saw something in this woman worth pulling into their web of power. He just had to find it. Before Amara Okoye found him. The Kang household ran like clockwork dipped in venom. Amara learned this within 72 hours. Servants moved in perfect synchronization, silent, efficient, but they never spoke to her. When she asked directions, they gestured. When she entered rooms, conversations died mid-syllable. She was a ghost. On the third morning, breakfast arrived cold. On the fourth, her bath was ice water. On the fifth, her clothes had been accidentally washed with bleach, every piece she owned spotted, ruined. A terrible mistake, the head housekeeper said, her face perfectly contrite. We'll try to replace them. They both knew. That evening, Amara ate her cold dinner alone, far from any warmth. She chewed slowly, face blank. She wouldn't give them satisfaction. But late that night, she pressed her face into silk pillowcases worth more than her salary and let silent tears come. She missed Lagos, her mother's akara frying at dawn, her father's rolling laugh. But they were gone, she was alone. She'd been alone for years. Never like this. Knock, knock, knock. The door swung open. Jae-min stood in the doorway. You've been crying. Amara's spine snapped straight. Is that a crime here too? Everything's a crime here, he stepped inside. The staff is testing you. I noticed. And I'm still here. Something flickered in his expression, surprise, respect. My grandmother has enemies, he said, moving to the window. The moment she announced you, you became a target. Then why did she do it? He didn't answer. You don't know either, Amara realized. His jaw tightened. My grandmother keeps secrets from gods. Then why are you here, to watch me break? He turned. For the first time, something human crossed his face. I heard you cry through 3 walls, he paused. The walls here are thick, you'd have to be screaming into your pillow for anyone to hear. Silence. His eyes dropped to her tear-stained pillow. Eat tomorrow's breakfast hot, I'll handle the kitchen staff. I don't need. You do, this is war. And you're fighting alone, let me contribute 1 battle. He left. Amara stared at the empty doorway. He heard her. Through 3 walls he came. It meant nothing. It had to mean nothing. But that night she slept without nightmares. Day 9. Amara found a sanctuary. A small chapel hidden in the estate's gardens, forgotten, overgrown, beautiful. Ivy crept up stone walls, wildflowers pushed through cracked pathways. She came here every dawn. Not to pray, she'd stopped when her mother died. But to breathe, to remember who she was. Today she knelt on cold stone, eyes closed. Baba, she whispered in Yoruba, show me why I'm here. What are you doing? Her eyes snapped open. Jae-min stood in the doorway, dressed for running, breath uneven. Praying, is that forbidden too? He stepped inside, overwhelming the small space. This chapel belonged to my mother, she died when I was 12. The words seemed to cost him. She came here every morning, crying. Amara waited. I asked why, his voice went distant. She said some tears are prayers, the body speaks to God when the mouth forgets how. Silence stretched. Then he turned, and for one unguarded moment she saw him. Not the Ice King. Just a boy who'd lost his mother and never learned to grieve. You cry like she did, he said, silently, stubbornly, like tears are fury, not surrender. They are. I know, he held her gaze, that's why I can't seem to look away. The moment fractured. His mask slammed back. My grandmother requests breakfast, 8 o'clock. He left. Breakfast with Halmoni was a performance. The old woman ate nothing, just watched. You've survived 2 weeks, Halmoni said finally. Was I not supposed to? A thin smile, most would have broken, begged to leave. I'm not most. Halmoni's eyes glittered, then she told her story. 23 years ago, her son in Lagos, armed men, a debt, certain death. A Nigerian architect intervened, negotiated 45 minutes until they freed my son. Halmoni's voice softened. When my son tried to repay him, he said, I have a daughter, if she ever finds herself where no one sees her value, I hope someone will. Tears burned Amara's eyes. Your father gave me my child's life, Halmoni continued. I spent 15 years searching for you. Why the marriage announcement? You could have just helped quietly. Money can be stolen, but power, the Kang name, Halmoni shook her head, that lasts forever. You deserve nothing less. She rose. You have a choice, Amara. Run back to your stolen designs and invisibility, or stay, fight, claim what's yours. She paused. If you stay, you become one of us, and we do not break, we reign. She left. Amara sat alone, mind spinning. Her father, the debt, the game she didn't understand. And somewhere in this house, Kang Jae-min was either the prize or the punishment. She hadn't decided which. The files arrived at midnight. A servant slipped a leather folder onto Amara's vanity without a word. Inside, photographs, dozens, her father young, vibrant, standing beside a younger Halmoni Kang. They hadn't just met once. They'd been friends. Letters in her father's handwriting, business proposals, a partnership spanning years. And at the bottom, a newspaper clipping. Lagos architect saves Kang heir in daring negotiation. Below it, her father shaking hands with a man who had Jae-min's jaw, Jae-min's eyes. His father. Anak. She shoved the files under her pillow. It was Jae-min. You saw them, he said. You sent them. My grandmother did, he stepped inside. You needed to know what you're standing on. Did you know before? I knew my father was saved in Lagos, not by whom. He moved closer, studying the photograph, their fathers together. Grandmother kept your father's identity classified to protect you. From what? People who'd use you as leverage, his voice darkened. If enemies knew she owed a blood debt, that someone held power over her, they'd have destroyed you to weaken her. And now you're under our protection. Anyone who touches you answers to me. I don't want protection, I want understanding. She held his gaze. Why didn't my father tell me? Jae-min was quiet. Maybe he wanted you free of debts, of obligations, of us. And now I'm here anyway. Now you're here, he picked up a photograph, their fathers laughing together. Your father gave mine a second chance. My father spent his life trying to be worthy. He looked up. He failed. How? The family business changes people. By the time I understood, he'd become someone my mother didn't recognize. Jae-min's voice went flat. She killed herself when I was 12, left a note saying she couldn't watch him become a monster. Amara's heart stopped. The chapel. She died in the garden outside. His eyes were obsidian. My grandmother took over, raising me, running everything, being strong enough to carry our sins. And you. I became the monster my mother feared. Amara should have been afraid. But all she saw was a broken boy. I don't think you're a monster, she said softly. Then you're not paying attention. Or maybe you're not, she stepped closer. Monsters don't listen through walls, don't grieve over photographs. His hand shot out, gripping her wrist. Don't try to save me, Amara, you'll drown. Maybe I'm a good swimmer. They stood there, her wrist in his hand, breath mingling, air charged with something unnameable. Then he released her. Good night, Miss Okoye. He vanished. Amara stood alone, wrist still warm. Don't try to save me. But what if she couldn't help herself? The ShinHWA Foundation Gala was a mistake. Amara knew it instantly. The crowd was too hungry, the eyes tracking her too predatory. Stay close, Jae-min murmured, hand at her back. They moved through silk and diamonds like a knife through water. People parted, bowing, fearing. Jae-min SSI. A woman materialized, petite, stunning, dressed in white silk like an avenging angel. Her smile was perfect. Her eyes were razors. Yoon Ha-yoon, Jae-min said flatly, I wasn't expecting you. Miss Seoul's biggest event, Ha-yoon's gaze slid to Amara, and this must be your project. Amara's spine locked. Project. Amara Okoye, and you are. Ha-yoon's handshake was limp. My family's been close to the Kangs for generations. This situation is quite unexpected. Watching your plans crumble usually is. Ha-yoon's smile froze. Jae-min suppressed a laugh. Enjoy the evening, Ha-yoon said tightly, gliding away. That was unwise, Jae-min murmured. That was satisfying. Those rarely align. He was right. The trap sprung an hour later. Amara exited the restroom to find Ha-yoon waiting, flanked by allies. A private conversation, Ha-yoon said, woman to woman. We have nothing to discuss. Oh, but we do, Ha-yoon stepped closer. I've researched your designs. Several originals resemble European projects completed years before you joined the firm. That's not. Plagiarism is ugly. Ha-yoon displayed doctored evidence on her phone. This goes public in 30 minutes unless you disappear, leave Korea, never contact the Kangs again. Amara's heart pounded. Jae-min was meant to be mine, Ha-yoon hissed. I won't lose him to some. Somewhat. The voice came from behind them. Cold, deadly. Jae-min stood at the corridor's end. Behind him, Halmoni leaned on her cane, eyes blazing. Finish your sentence, child, Halmoni said. Tell us what Amara is. Ha-yoon's mouth opened, closed. Allow me, Jae-min said, advancing. Amara's work is original, verified by 3 independent firms. Your evidence is fabricated. He displayed emails. Traced to your server, you've built this frame job for months. Ha-yoon went white. The Yoon family will be informed, Halmoni said. You will publicly apologize or this evidence reaches every outlet in Asia. Ha-yoon's allies had vanished. Finally she looked at Amara. Not defeat. Hatred. This isn't over, Ha-yoon whispered. Yes, Amara said quietly, it is. Ha-yoon fled. In the silence, Jae-min turned to Amara. You should have called me immediately. I fight my own battles. Not these battles, he cupped her face gently. You're not alone anymore, you don't have to be. Her breath caught. I'm not used to being protected. Then get used to it, his eyes burned. I'm not letting anyone hurt you ever again. Behind them, Halmoni smiled. The game was going exactly as planned. Halmoni collapsed 3 days later. One moment sharp-eyed and indestructible, the next gray-faced on marble. Servants scrambled, doctors appeared. And Jae-min, the Ice King who feared nothing, stood frozen, face white. Halmoni. The first time Amara heard him sound afraid. 3 hours later, Jae-min delivered the diagnosis. Heart failure advanced, his voice was dead. She's been hiding it for years. She wanted to protect you. She wanted to control me, he laughed bitterly. That's all she's ever done, and now she's dying and I'm supposed to what, become her? Amara reached for him. He pulled away. Don't. Jae-min. You don't know what this means. The syndicate doesn't run on kindness, it runs on fear, on blood. Then don't become that. He stared. She gave you this empire, Amara continued, but also a choice. You don't have to be a monster. You make it sound simple. It's not, but it's possible. Sometimes possible is enough. Slowly his hand wrapped around hers. Cold fingers, trembling grip. She asked for you, he said quietly. She won't see anyone else. Amara found Halmoni propped against silk pillows, aged 20 years overnight. But her eyes remained sharp. I'm dying, Halmoni said simply. Months at best, weeks if unlucky. Why didn't you tell anyone? Weakness is blood in the water, her eyes fixed on Amara. My grandson isn't ready, he thinks he is, he's not. He's stronger than you think. I know exactly how strong he is, I made him. Halmoni's frail hand gripped Amara's, but strength isn't what he needs someone to fight for, someone who sees the man underneath and loves him anyway. Her voice cracked. Be that for him, please. Amara's throat tightened. I can't just decide to love someone. Can't you? Love isn't lightning, it's a choice made daily. You choose to stay, to forgive, to see the best when they show their worst. Halmoni smiled weakly. I've watched how you look at him, how he looks at you. The fire's already there, just let it burn. Tears pricked Amara's eyes. And if I'm not enough? Oh child, you're more than enough, you always have been. In the hallway, Jae-min waited. Amara walked past, then stopped. She's right about you, she said softly. You're not a monster, you never were. You don't know me. Maybe not, she held his gaze, but I'd like to. Something cracked in his expression. For the first time, Kang Jae-min had no response. The charity auction was a mistake. The crowd was too electric, the eyes following Amara too hungry. Stay close, Jae-min murmured. Always watching over me. Always. The word meant everything. Jae-min SSI. A man broke through, tall, sharp-smiled, handsome in an ugly way. Lee Sang-woo. Jae-min's instant tension told Amara everything. I wasn't aware you were back, Jae-min said flatly. Recent development? Sang-woo's eyes slid to Amara. The famous Miss Okoye. I've always wondered what Kangs see in foreigners. Your grandmother was half Chinese, wasn't she? Blood was never truly pure. Jae-min's hand tightened on Amara's back. Choose your next words carefully. Why, it's conversation, Sang-woo examined Amara with deliberate slowness. Although this one is exotic, interesting bone structure. He reached out, touched Amara's chin, lifted it like livestock. I wonder if... He never finished. One moment his hand was on her face. The next he was on the ground. Jae-min moved so fast Amara barely saw it. One hand wrenched Sang-woo's arm back, the other pressed against his throat. I told you, Jae-min said, ice over fire, choose carefully. Jae-min. Quiet, the command silenced the room. Let me be clear, touch what is mine again and you won't have hands to do it a second time. The words echoed. Amara's heart pounded. She should have been horrified. She wasn't. Because Jae-min's eyes, burning fierce, were fixed on her. Not ownership. Devotion. Security dragged Sang-woo away. Jae-min cupped her face, examining where he'd touched her. Are you all right? You didn't have to. I did, his voice shook. I should have stopped him sooner. Jae-min. Yes. I'm fine, she covered his hands, thank you. Something shifted between them. I meant it, he said quietly. You're mine, I protect what's mine. Yours. You know what I mean. She did. She needed him to say it. Tell me anyway. His jaw tightened. Not here, later when we're alone. A promise. A threat. Both. Later came sooner. Inside the estate, he pulled her into an alcove. You asked what you are to me. Her breath caught. I'm asking. Not a project, not a debt. His forehead pressed hers. You're the first person who made me feel human. I don't know how to be gentle with that. Then don't be gentle, be honest. His lips brushed her forehead, temple, cheek. Tomorrow everything changes, but tonight, I just want to hold on to you. She didn't ask what would change. She pulled him closer. The rain started at midnight. Violent, relentless, drumming against windows like desperate fists. Amara couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m. she gave up. She found him in the garden. Jae-min stood in the downpour, face tilted skyward, white shirt soaked through. You'll catch pneumonia, she called. He didn't turn. Go inside, Amara. Make me. That made him look. She stood at the walkway's edge, robe already damp, hair loosening, a mess. But his eyes devoured her like she was beautiful. You shouldn't be here, he said. Neither should you. She stepped into the rain. Cold shocked her, but she didn't stop. She walked through the storm until she stood before him. Why are you doing this? His voice was raw. Because you've been hiding since the auction. Because you look at me like a lifeline then run. Because I'm tired of dancing around what's happening. What's happening is dangerous. Everything about you is dangerous, she held his gaze. I stopped caring long ago. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, something had broken. The wall. The ice. Him. I didn't want a wife, he said, words torn from his chest. I had a plan: grow the syndicate, secure Halmoni's legacy, die alone, simple. And then you, he laughed brokenly, your stubborn silence, fierce tears, your refusal to break. You looked at me like I was human when everyone saw a monster. His hands cupped her face. I didn't want a wife, but I need you like I need air, and it terrifies me. I don't need you fearless, she whispered, just honest. I'm trying. Try harder. His lips curved, his first real smile. I love you, I don't know when, I don't know how, but somewhere between the chapel and the battles you became the only thing worth fighting for. He pressed his forehead to hers, honest enough. Her heart cracked open. Yes. And she kissed him. Fierce, relentless, unstoppable. His arms wrapped around her, rain forgotten, cold forgotten, only this, two broken people finding wholeness. When they pulled apart, gasping, his eyes blazed. Marry me, not because Halmoni ordered it, because I love you, because I'll spend my life making you glad you chose me. She looked at him, rain-soaked, desperate hers. I already chose you, the moment you heard me cry through 3 walls and came anyway. His smile widened. This time his kiss felt like a beginning. 3 months later, Amara Okoye returned to Park and Associates. Through the front doors, wearing a tailored ivory suit worth more than her old annual salary. Jae-min at her side. The receptionist froze. No need to call, Amara said pleasantly, I'll show myself in. The boardroom was unchanged, glass walls, cold chairs, endless table. The partners gathered, Mr. Park at the head, Kim Sora 2 seats down, face draining white. Miss Okoye, we weren't expecting. I know, Amara set down a leather folder. As of this morning, Shin HWA Holdings acquired 62% of Park and Associates shares. That makes me majority stakeholder. Silence. Additionally, a forensic audit identified 17 instances of credit misattribution, my designs under others' names. She paused, corrected. Mr. Park paled. You can't. I can, I have, she straightened, but I'm not here for revenge, I'm offering a choice. She let the words hang. Resign quietly with generous severance, or fight and we release every email proving you systematically stole credit, not just from me, 12 others, already contacted. Sora was crying. Amara felt nothing. Take the severance, find a new industry, and never let me see your faces again. She turned and walked out. Outside, Seoul sparkled bright, crisp new. Amara paused on the steps, looking back at the building that had contained so much suffering. 8 years of invisibility, theft, being told she wasn't enough. Now she owned it. What are you thinking? Jae-min asked. That I spent years proving I belonged in spaces that didn't want me, now I get to build better ones. Will I be allowed in those spaces? She laughed, genuine free. You'll be first invited. He smiled, that rare real smile. Lead the way, Mrs. Kang. Not Mrs. Kang, she faced him. Amara Okoye Kang, both names, both legacies, both of us together. He considered her. Then kissed her soft, sure. Amara Okoye Kang it is. That evening they sat with Halmoni, still defying doctors through sheer spite. You did well today, Halmoni said weakly, walked through that building like a queen. I had good teachers. You had me, the old woman smiled, but you already had everything, I just helped you remember. Amara took her hand. Thank you for seeing me. Thank your father, child, he gave you everything good, I just recognized it. Later, Amara stood on the balcony, watching Seoul glitter below. Jae-min wrapped his arms around her. Regrets? None. Not one. She turned, maybe one, I wish I could tell my father. He was quiet. I think he knows, he said finally, he's always known. She leaned into him. Yes, I think so too. Above them stars burned bright. Below a new dawn waited.